Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. Just a heads up, starting in February 2023, I'm going to be putting up 2 numerology forecasts per month. One will be for each life path, and the other will be for each personal month. So I'm going to recommend listening to both, because I think that you'll find that the personal month forecast will resonate pretty deeply as they're based on your own birthday and your personal energy for that month. So I do think that that could potentially be significant for you. And it could be different than the energies that you're working with when it comes to your life path energy. So have a listen to both when I get them both uploaded and see what you think. I'll have the personal month forecast out very, very soon. So again, keep an eye out for that and then have a listen. I will also be moving the moon forecasts. So for the new moon and the full moon each month, I will be moving those forecasts over to the personal month forecast. So if that's something that you're interested in, then again, I highly recommend having a listen to that forecast as well. I'm also potentially going to start grouping these together. So basically one upload as opposed to individual uploads. So I will, of course, include timestamps down below. For the people who listen on my podcast, not on my YouTube channel, but on my podcast, if for some reason there are issues with the timestamps, as we sort of begin this process, just let me know and I'll try to figure something out, but it should be fine. So I'm not anticipating any issues, but should there be anything that arises, just let me know. Okay. For this episode, we are going to briefly take a look at the universal energy for February. And then I'm going to break it down for each individual life path number and include the animal spirit message as well. So timestamps again are below for you to find your life path forecast. So if you want to skip ahead, you're welcome to do that. I highly recommend listening to the intro, but it's entirely up to you. Okay, so February is a 9 universal cycle. So collectively, we will all feel the influence of this vibration in some way. With this energy, be on the lookout for themes around change or gently shifting gears from closure and completion of something into either a new chapter or a period of rest, receptivity, and renewal. This can be a cycle where we're sort of better served by allowing things to come to us rather than forcing something to happen. So this can be a time for surrender and not necessarily the best energy to start something brand new unless we've already initiated it prior to this cycle. And what I would say is this isn't a time necessarily for initiating something new, but it is a beautiful time to focus your energy, again, on the things that you've already started, that you are already, have some kind of momentum for. This is a great energy to really focus on the present and what you're currently working with, because this can, like I said, add a lot of momentum and energy to that project, whatever that may be. And that includes relationships and so forth. This can also be a time when beautiful new ideas and insights can come in. Again, not the best time to start something new, but that doesn't mean that the new fresh ideas won't come rushing in. So definitely pay attention to what comes in, what kind of downloads that you get at this time. Write them down. Maybe start planning. This is a beautiful planning period. So maybe start the planning process to decide how it is that you want to work on that moving forward, who it is that you want to maybe collaborate with to do that, and maybe get those wheels sort of get the hamster moving, right? To be thinking about that, because come next month, you're probably going to really want to start initiating those pieces in a big way. So this is a great planning period, though. This can also be a time when we see assistance from others come in the most sort of unexpected way, but the most welcomed way. Sort of like where we have limitations or where we're sort of struggling, all of a sudden we see the right people or the right experiences sort of show up. So again, this is a period of we've already built the web and now we're allowing the nutrients to come to us. So be open to what comes your way. This cycle, we can also feel very spiritually connected. So synchronicities can sort of be off the charts now. Pay attention to those guideposts. It can feel as though we're being sort of divinely guided and divinely protected at this time. This is absolutely an energy for letting things flow. And again, see what comes to you now. What fruit is ready to be harvested because of your previous effort, because of the seeds and the sowing that you've previously done. So again, surrender and go with the flow, and you will have the opportunity to pick the sweetest, ripest fruit from the vine now. This is also a beautiful cycle for charity and paying it forward. So share that fruit. Share it with others, and you will truly reap the greatest reward. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at each individual life path for February. Life path number 1, I pulled an animal spirit message for you all, and you got mantis energy. And this goes alongside of your the energy that you're working with for February beautifully. So with mantis, there's this energy of fearlessness, of flexibility, and also choosing your battles. I'm laughing because like one energy can be very fiery. It can be very like, I have a one personality energy, so I totally get this, but it's very much like, it's like Mars energy. We see what we want and we go after it. And sometimes that can be a lot to handle for some people. And so, there is also this side of ones that is sort of not, I don't want to say rigid, but can kind of like get stuck in my way or the highway type thing. And so just be mindful of that, right? Like there is very much this need for the energy of that leadership, the gung-ho energy, like this is the way we're doing it. I know that this is going to work and type thing, because there's a strong intelligence when it comes to one energy. So that's all valid. But with mantis coming through, I think there's just this call to just be aware of where it is maybe that you are, maybe you have maybe you have tunnel vision and you're not seeing the whole picture, and you're not maybe taking in others' ideas into consideration, that there might be a different way and there might be a better way to do it. And so collaboration is going to be, I think, important just to kind of take that into consideration. I do think that this is going to be a very independent month for you all, though. But just make sure that you just don't take that to the extreme to where you're just not taking anybody else's ideas into consideration, right? So with this, though, there is definitely this fearlessness that comes through, and this flexibility. And I think this is such beautiful energy for ones, because especially as you're moving to step into your life path number, there can be like that lack of confidence. There can be that like fear of taking risks. And for ones, you are absolutely meant to have that confidence, stand in your authenticity and your autonomy, and know your space and hold your space and all of those things, right? All of those power words. But until you sort of step into that energy, there can be that, you have to move through the challenges of that. And so with mantis coming through, there's definitely a call this month for you all to take the risk, to be fearless in what you say yes to and what you say no to as well, but really what you say yes to, because one energy is meant to blaze the trail, right? You're meant to stand out. Sometimes that can feel a little isolating. Sometimes it can feel like you're on the outside looking in, but you are meant to be the leader, right? You can lead alongside of others. And of course, that's the higher octave of the one. But ultimately, in doing so, you are not meant to lose the integrity of whatever it is that you are forging that path for, right? So with Mantis coming through, there's definitely this call. If there is something that you have wanted to really initiate, something you really have a deep passion for, but maybe there's some irrational fears around whatever that is, this is going to be a month to really commit. And I mean commit, with your heart, with your soul, and physically, like commit to whatever this is and seeing it through to completion. Now, again, we're in a 9 universal cycle, so you might not be able to sort of get a lot of footing this month in starting whatever that is, but you can absolutely start the process of planning and what that is going to look like, right? And who you need to call in to assist type thing. But there's a call with Mantis to just be fearless, but also adaptable and flexible, right? So if things don't necessarily go the way that you expect them to go, or the way that you feel like it should be going, try to ease the reins a little bit there and allow for other ideas to come in, other just other opportunities, like just seeing things from a bigger perspective. Just be adaptable when it comes to that and a little bit more flexible when it comes to that, right? It's very easy for some of the powerhouse energies like 1, 4, and 8 to really get sort of just so hyper-focused that we lose sight of, oh yeah, there are other ways to do this. And maybe it's easier. So it's like sometimes we can kind of get set on, nope, this is the only way. And sometimes it's not the most efficient or the most effective way to do it. So just be open to that. Just be flexible. But at the same time, try not to be afraid to take those risks and go for it. Go for whatever it is that's really speaking to you at this time. Because there is this energy of it being very divinely guided at the same time. And that can be whatever you subscribe to, right? Whether it's your higher consciousness or God or Allah or the universe or whatever. There's some kind of like divine guidance coming through with us being in a 9 universal cycle. So for ones, this is a strong connectivity when it comes to getting those big ideas, but those big ideas can be outside of your comfort zone and can bring up some irrational fear that you may need to move through. Now, for the month of February, you're actually working with 10-1 energy. So the influence of the 10 is very much, again, it's like your energy, this one energy, this independence, autonomy, forging a path, having that confidence and taking those risks type of energy, but you're also got the energy of the 0. So again, this is like a clean slate. This is like, again, we talked about in the intro, things coming to completion and gentle shifts into a new chapter. So I feel like this is very relevant for ones. There may be something that you had been working on or you're bringing to completion, or it's just not working anymore. Like it's something that maybe you were gung-ho about and moving towards, but you're starting to see maybe there's a better way to do it. And this month, a clean slate may open up for you to take a different direction. And in that sort of shift, you have free reign to create whatever it is that you want to create. Because the 0 energy, everything is built from nothing type thing, right? So when we're working with this 0 energy, it's incredibly beautiful energy for creation and for exploring new ideas and planning and all of that. So you all ones are just working with incredibly beautiful foundational energy of what it is that you want to build, what that looks like, who you want to bring in on that project, who you want to collaborate with, what it is that you're sort of expecting to get out of whatever this creation is. But beautiful, beautiful energy for starting something new. Now, again, not the best time to do that because we are in a 9 cycle. However, very supportive for you to get that ball sort of rolling when it comes to the planning stages and being very open, very imaginative when it comes to whatever it is that you want to explore, whatever it is that you want to create. So this is a great month for you all to start to decide what it is that you want to build out this year, what it is that you want to invest your energy into this year, and who it is that you want to work with. And again, just start that process of that, start that planning process. So beautiful, beautiful energy for you all for January. Life path number 2. So I pulled an animal spirit message for you all, and you all got Tasmanian devil. So there may be some sort of friction that comes to the surface for you all this month, or some pent up energy that needs to be expressed. So I would say just be mindful of how you express that, right? Like 2 energy can be very hypersensitive. And so you can kind of go from 0 to 60 with your emotions very quickly. So I would just say, especially with Tasmanian devil coming through, just be really careful about conflict and how you sort of participate in that. So it might not be you bringing the conflict to the table, but you have the choice as to whether or not you're going to participate. And if you do participate, what that looks like. So just be really, really mindful of that so that you don't sort of lose your cool or lose your head about you when it comes to something that may be triggering or that sort of stirs up that pent up emotion or that electrical charge. Also with this, there may be some energy coming in around competition. So again, if it's a healthy competition, great, right? There's things we can learn from that and teamwork and all of that. So it's great. But if it's a competition where it's stems out of envy or jealousy or trying to prove yourself or prove your worth to somebody, and then it becomes this conflicting sort of dialogue or exchange, again, you get to choose whether or not you participate in that or not. And if you do, what that looks like. So if someone brings conflict to your door or competition to your door, you can decide whether or not you say yes or no to it. And that decision will impact your experience and how you sort of, again, decide to interact. So just be really mindful that this can be, this month, a very sensitive period, a very sensitive cycle for you all. So you can use that energy to get more in tune with yourself and your own higher consciousness and your own higher frequency when it comes to working with this vibration. Instead of sort of not being in control of how you direct that energy and then decide to sort of do that dance of conflict or chaos or whatever. So that just will sort of destabilize your own peace. You know what I mean? So this month, just be really mindful of, again, how you participate, who you're participating with, what that looks like, what that feels like, and make changes accordingly. There's also this energy with Tasmanian devil coming through about hiding from truth. So sometimes it's easier to focus or to believe things that are not necessarily healthy for us, or that are toxic, or that are straight out lies about our own situation, because they're known and they're more comfortable. So if there is a truth about yourself or a situation or a relationship that you need to face, this month it could come to the surface, and it would really benefit you to just sit with it and face it and overcome any, again, irrational fears that may surface for you that need to be dealt with, so that you can move forward, and that you can move forward in a way that's most authentic for you. Now, when we look at the month ahead for you all, you're working with 11-2 energy. And so this is inspiration. What inspires you? What motivates you to take inspired action? That is the route you're meant to take at this time. So go with that. So your question this month to yourself is, does this inspire me? Does this motivate me? Do I feel passionate about this? Is this something that is worth my time, my investment, and my energy? If the answer is yes, then it's a go. If the answer is no, then it's a no. And it can really be that simple. It may force you to make some adjustments and make some changes that can be uncomfortable, but those changes can help you to step more and more into your own autonomy, your own truth, your own authenticity, and face those truths. So it can ultimately be an incredibly beautiful thing. So I hope it's a beautiful February for you all twos. Take care. Bye for now. Life path number 3. So I pulled an animal spirit message for you all for February, and you got caterpillar energy. And what initially just comes to mind with this is that you are in some kind of transformation, some kind of metamorphosis. You're in sort of that beginning stage of something that is about to transpire or transform into something incredibly beautiful, but you're still sort of in the early stages of that. And so while you're in those early stages, it can bring about sort of this scarcity consciousness or this scarcity mindset where there's sort of like this fear of the unknown or fear of loss or fear of not having enough, not being enough, sort of, like just thinking about like if you were a caterpillar and you sort of instinctually knew that there was like this huge transformation about to come into play, there would be some irrational fears that would surface. And so with this coming through for you all for February, this could be a period of time where you're meant to face those irrational fears now and really move through them in a healthy way, however works for you to do that. But don't cling to the things that bring you a false sense of security, right? Because it may make you feel good in the moment, but it's not sustainable, right? There are bigger things meant for you, and there's a transformation about to happen that, again, it's like you getting your wings. And so it's almost like you standing at the precipice of some major shifts, seeing them coming and starting to fear, all those like self-doubts and fears coming to the surface. And so with caterpillar energy, it's just that energy of being in the present moment, but being very aware of what's about to transpire and just facing whatever comes up for you, whether, again, it's through journaling or speaking to someone or getting coaching or just spending some time sitting with those fears, getting down to the root of them, deconstructing them, and working with the quote unquote like worst case scenario, right? And like seeing that, okay, if this is the worst case scenario, I can handle this. I'm prepared to handle this, however that may be. So, beautiful energy here. And it's almost like with caterpillar coming through, it's just a reminder that where you're at right now is not where you're going to be soon, right? Because caterpillar always goes through this metamorphosis into the butterfly. So there is something transformative that's coming through for you, but where it's leading you is to your like purpose, like your destiny type thing. Because again, the caterpillar is destined to become a butterfly. That process can be daunting, but it is its destiny, so to speak, right? So beautiful energy coming through for you all. Just be aware of whatever, again, like irrational fears surface for you, especially this month. Now, you all this month are working with 12-3 energy, so your own energy, so to speak, but also the energy of the 12. So there's very much this like need for independence, need for leadership, need for standing in your power, but also need for collaboration, need for taking others into consideration, taking others' needs into consideration, seeing the bigger picture. Again, like working with others, taking a closer look at how you relate, how it is that how can you work and collaborate with others without losing yourself within that relationship, whatever that relationship might be, right? Whether it's a business relationship, a personal relationship, whatever. Because there's a definite need here this month to not lose your independence, to not lose your autonomy, but to find a way to merge that with other people so that you're able to collaborate, but in a way that you're not losing yourself, right? And to face any fears that may surface around that, whatever that may be for you. This is going to be the month. This is definitely, I think, going to be the month for you all to face some strong irrational fears, and work through them and deconstruct them, and to take the time to do that especially because we're in a 9 universal cycle. So this is a very sort of more reflective period. And so again, this is a great time to just focus your energy on deconstructing those fears coming up with a sort of energetic game plan of how you will work with the worst case scenario if that should happen, right? So your ego feels prepared for whatever that worst case scenario might be, so that moving forward in the months that follow, you can really just put all your energy into that metamorphosis that wants to happen, right? From caterpillar to butterfly. So beautiful energies this month for you all threes. Hope it's a great one. Take care. Life path number 4. So I pulled an animal spirit message for us, and we got such a beautiful energy. This is white buffalo energy. This, y'all, is all about prosperity, divine gifts, opportunities. This is like Ace of Pentacles energy. So there is the potential for, and I know, for most fours, this is music to our ears, but there's a very big opportunity potentially coming in this month that could just catapult us forward when it comes to career. So that could be like an influx of clients, that could be a promotion or a status change, or I don't know. I say like, or you could win the lottery, but for fours, that's just not usually in the cards for us because we have to work for everything that we get. But this can be a time where using your divine gifts, like what you came here with, can bring a tremendous amount of prosperity at this time. So there is obviously effort that we need to put forth, as always, but that's a beautiful thing, right? That's what we came here for. So, but there could be, like I said, just big opportunities coming in that feel very much like divinely timed and divinely guided. So if you listen to the intro, I talked about this being a 9 universal cycle where there's like this spiritual connectivity, almost like this divine, not only guidance, but protection. And so with white buffalo coming through, that's just like a big, heavy double dose of that. And so again, beautiful, beautiful energy. I hope it's for every single 4. I really do. I feel like we all deserve it. I feel like we've all worked so hard for it. So possibility for just a lot of potential for prosperity, or at least like seeing how that is a very big potential, right? Like can start to see the wheels starting to move, like the planning things coming in, like opportunities where maybe you don't start it this month, but you get the call or you get the email that's like, hey, we have this opportunity for you. Do you want to take it type thing? You know what I'm saying? So again, like with us being in a 9 universal cycle, it's not the best time to start something new, but that doesn't mean that like the ideas, the inspiration, the opportunities won't present themselves. So pay very close attention to what comes in for you this month when it has to do with that, because career-wise or for resources, finances, business relationships, anything like that, there's a very strong possibility for a big win when it comes to that, right? Like if there's something that you've been working on really for like what feels like forever, you may see things just pick up very, very quickly at this time. Almost like, again, like it's divinely guided and divinely timed. Now for the month of February, we are working with 13-4 energy. So this can bring a tremendous amount of transformation. 13 energy is, it's very like Venusian. So it's very much like, again, like relationships, love, but also finances, doing what we love and sort of reaping the rewards for that, using our, again, divine gifts in a way that's not only helping us and serving us, but helping and serving others. When it comes to the 13, it's also very platonic energy. It's very much like death, transformation, rebirth. I'm not necessarily getting like these major like sort of deconstructive kind of energies. I'm getting more of like you've done the work, you've done the deconstruction, and now it's time to construct. So it's time to rebuild something and to rebuild it in a really beautiful way. So that is very, very possible that the opportunities now surface. It's like the dust has settled from that sort of demolishing period. And now sort of the white buffalo comes in with the new opportunities that are much more elevated, right? And much more aligned. So incredibly beautiful energy. I will also say with the 13, please be mindful of your words. There's, and your communication and how you're speaking to others and how you're getting your message across. Just be mindful of your communication, written word, spoken word. You don't have control over how your message is received, how the other person digests it, but you are very much responsible for your intention behind that message. So just be really careful about, if your intention is to tear someone down or control someone or manipulate someone, there's not a lot of integrity behind that message, right? Behind those words. And that will come back to bite you as a 4. That absolutely, and I would say with anybody, but really as a 4, it'll come back to bite you. So just check your integrity when it comes to your words and just make sure that your message, it's the message you're trying to deliver is to help empower, uplift, and inspire others in some way. So good luck for February 4s. I hope it's a powerful, beautiful, prosperous month for us all. Take care. Life path number 5. So I pulled an animal message for you all for February, and you got camel energy. This actually goes really beautifully with the 9 universal cycle that we're in for February. So if you didn't listen to the intro, I highly recommend that. But this, with camel coming through, it's like there's this quest for knowledge. Like there's not even knowledge, but wisdom, right? Something much deeper. So this can come through with relationships. This can come through with career, purpose, whatever. But it's almost like this deep inner desire for something more aligned, something more profound, something more outside your comfort zone even. So there may be opportunities that surface for you at this time to have to find a mentor, to travel, which is right up your alley as a 5, but to travel to a different country, to different cultures, to experience life in a bigger way type thing, and to, I don't know, just extract the wisdom from that, right? Like, but there's almost like this need for that, like this calling for that. And so honor whatever comes up for you with that. And that can just be also like, taking a course or having a reading or reading a book or something like that, right? So it's whatever speaks to you, but there's definitely this call with camel coming through for this quest for wisdom. There's also this energy about abundant harvest. So again, being in a 9 universal cycle, collectively, this is the time for harvest. This is the time for, we've already built the web and now the nutrients are coming to us. So for 5s, this can be a month where you see things come in now from your efforts. So beautiful, beautiful energy there. And almost like this energy of like, you get to pick the fruits that you pull, right? The fruits that you choose. It's not like you're just getting whatever falls to you. You are in a place now where you get to decide what you want. What is, you get to pick the best harvest type thing. So it's beautiful, beautiful energy there. Also, there's this energy with camel about conserving your energy. So again, we're in a 9 universal cycle. So I would suggest this is a time for receptivity. This is a time for slowing down a little bit. Not necessarily slowing down, but because, if there's something you're working on, then really put your energy towards that, but don't neglect your need for self-soothing, self-care, that sort of thing. That's going to be really important for you all. And the need to kind of focus your energy so that you're not too scattered. But yeah, if you need a day off, if you need downtime, set that boundary. Make sure that you stand up for yourself because you are your best advocate. Now, for the month of February, there is this, you're working with 14-5 energy. So ultimately, you're working with your own energy. So this is beautiful. So there could be a lot of like changes, transformations, shifts in energy. There could be this opportunity again for travel. Travel is coming in very, very strongly for you all. So if you have an opportunity to go traveling this month or plan that travel, wherever that may be, this can be great. And even doing the research into it can be eye-opening, right? So let's say that you're planning a trip to, say, Peru or something like that. What you learn in that planning stage can be eye-opening and can, bring in a lot of wisdom as well. So, and then you can reap the rewards from that when you actually go on the trip type thing. So that's very, very possible. But you're also working with the 14 energy. So I would say there's definitely, again, this call for like patience and paying attention to the details and planning and moving more slowly and really focusing your energy. What is it? Pick 1 or 2 or 3 things that you really want to focus on and focus your energy there so that it's not scattered, right? Because you want to conserve as much as possible so that the energy that you're focusing is concentrated and the likelihood of whatever this is coming to fruition will come to fruition, right? So beautiful energy there, but definitely this can feel like a slower month for you all. So just move with it, adapt to it, pack your patience and be patient as you move through the month, not trying to rush things. Okay. So beautiful, beautiful energy for you all coming through. But I would absolutely say if an opportunity to either plan a trip comes in for you or go on a trip, this would be a great month for that. Take care, 5s. Life path number 6. So I pulled an animal spirit message for you all for February and you got raccoon energy. I love raccoons. They're so fun. Like they're just so adorable. This is such a great energy for you all. So I love this. There's like this energy of like enthusiasm, being a free spirit, new ideas coming in, like playful ideas, using your imagination, letting your inner child run free. This is great, great energy. And it actually corresponds with your monthly energy that I'll talk about in just a minute beautifully. So anything that comes in for you that excites you, that like just ignites your fire, your passion, that you feel really excited about, go for it. This is going to be a month to play, to, like I said, like let your hair down, try to just enjoy as many experiences as possible this month. And it might be that you have to get again, like imaginative and create those experiences. That's very, very possible as well. But there's very much this energy of like being a free spirit, not taking things too seriously, finding the joy within the experience, doing what makes you happy, not being too tied down or overly committed or overly burdened. So be mindful of what you say yes to, what you commit yourself to this month, because there's definitely this call to play as much as possible and to not feel bad about that, to not feel shame around that. If someone needs your assistance or attention, figure out if you can do it or not, but don't sacrifice your own sort of this very playful, very much like free-spirited energy, because this feels like very much like a month for you all. And to explore any new ideas that come through for you now with like an open mind and an open heart, right? Like not to just be very quick to be like, no, I can't do that because I don't have time or I don't have the resources or I don't have et cetera, but just explore the new idea that comes in, because you don't know what's around the corner that could present itself that may make it very, very possible to do. So if it's something that excites you, explore it. Now, for the month of February, you all are working with 15-6 energy, so very much your own energy, but the influence of the 15. And so again, this is a little bit more like selfish energy. This is very much like you doing what you need type thing, very free-spirited energy, very much like not wanting to be too tied down and just not overly committed to things. So this could be a great month for you all for travel, for exploring something new, for not being too rigid in your thinking outside the box. This is a very playful energy, or can be a very playful energy. So again, it ties in beautifully with raccoon. But it's very much like curious energy as well. Like you want to explore and play and like see what's out there and not be overly burdened, not be too restricted type thing. So allow yourself that space and that freedom to do that wherever you can, even if it's like 5 minutes here and there type thing. Let yourself indulge yourself in the things that you want and the things that you want to do, because the other things will fall into place exactly as they need to. But if you're not honoring your needs and your desires and your playfulness and your inner child, that's going to crop up in some way, right? And so it might as well be in a way that's enjoyable and fun. So beautiful energies this month. You may see that people require your attention and need you type thing, because you're a 6, right? And you're working with 6 energy this month. And so you might see that being more like concentrated, but it's ultimately going to fall to you to take on that responsibility of saying no if you can't do it, or if it impedes too much on your own personal freedom. So yeah, especially with raccoon energy coming through, and especially with the influences of the 15. So if you have that feeling of wanting some freedom, some movement, honor that in whatever way that you can in order to satiate that desire. You very much have the green light this month to do that. Take care, 6s. Life path number 7. So I pulled an animal spirit message for you all, and actually 2 came out at the same time. So I was going to put one back, but I don't know. They both seem relevant. So I kept them both. So for you all, there's 2 energies coming through. One is that of the bull. So like bovine, cow, right? The bull, but it's very masculine energy. And then the energy of the jaguar. So I'll talk about that in a second. But the bull energy, what's coming through for this is this very like sort of masculine energy of action, of, again, like knowing your space and owning your space and using your voice and not apologizing for it, so to speak, right? Like, like owning your truth, knowing your truth, speaking your truth type thing. It's a very leadership energy. So again, it's like stepping up and stepping into your own space and owning that space and not apologizing for that space. There's also this energy with bull about like objectivity. So not like immersing yourself into a situation so much that you lose yourself, but becoming the observer and seeing the situation for what it is without the emotion attached to it, right? So not to the point where you're detached, but you become the observer. So you're seeing things the way they actually are, as opposed to the story that you're infusing into the situation based on your own emotions, right? So especially if this is like a leadership type of thing, whatever this might be, right? Whether it's like in a work situation or in a relationship or something like that, if there's some place that you need to take the lead, to be as objective as possible. And I would also say with bull coming through, this is very much about you taking the lead within your own life, right? Like, so if there's anywhere where you feel like you have been easily influenced or have been kind of going with the crowd because you don't want to like rock the boat, bull coming through is kind of like that I guess that metaphor of like take the bull by the horns type thing. That's very much the energy that's coming through. So it's very much like you taking the reins for the direction of your life and the way that you want it to be, based on your own authenticity and truth, and not apologizing for that. So like owning your space, right? So there's a lot here about, and again, like not letting your sort of your ideas or your stories or whatever influence the situation, whatever that may be. But again, being very objective. And then Jaguar. So Jaguar coming through is interesting. These are both like very powerful, very like standing in your truth, like owning your space kind of energy, right? So with Jaguar, this is like major clarity potentially coming through for you. That clarity or that like truth or whatever can bring like profound transformation. It doesn't have to be like this like Pluto energy, which is like death, transformation, rebirth, right? It can just be like this like aha moment where you're like, oh, okay, this is what I need to do, or this is like the next step or whatever. It's like this very like sort of Queen of Swords type energy where it's like getting the clarity And from that clarity, you have no choice but to transform and to change directions or to modify or whatever, right? Or to step into whatever you're being asked to step into without apology, right? So these are both like very, very like, yeah, knowing your worth and standing in it and not apologizing for it type thing. Even when nobody understands, even if you get pushback, these two energies aren't worried about other people like not understanding or not agreeing with their choices. These two energies are very like firm in their own knowing. And yeah, so it's just like this these both are very powerful presence of like, again, leadership, owning your space and going after what you want with clarity and conviction. And with Jaguar, again, I would say this is very much like major clarity coming in, and through that clarity, some kind of profound transformation, like some kind of big decisions coming from that, and you sort of committing wholeheartedly to whatever this is, right? Without sort of external influence. Very, very powerful energies coming through for you all. But again, you're a 7 in a 7 universal year. So I am not surprised. Okay. What's so funny about this is, so for February, you all are actually working with 7 energy. So this is lifepath 7s in a 7 universal year in a 7 energy that you're working with this month. So this is beautiful. This is very, very profound and beautiful. But it's 16/7 energy. So it's very much about, again, like this very strong bull Jaguar energy that's coming through with the 1. So again, like taking the reins, standing in your power, owning your space, knowing your worth, all of those like very strong energies. But there's also the energy of the 6, right? Which is very loving, nurturing. It is the vibration of like unconditional love. So it's very much about like others. So you just want to make sure that you're not stepping into this sort of bull Jaguar energy so strongly that you're losing sight of others and losing sort of the compassion for others type thing. So yeah, it kind of goes back to that objectivity and just seeing the whole picture, right? And then making a decision from that picture and how it is that you want to move forward, so that you're honoring yourself while not sort of disrespecting others, if that makes sense. So, you know, you got to work with it the way that it feels good for you, because ultimately it is 7 energy that you're working with. So there is something here you're being asked to bridge, right? Like this month, you're being asked to bridge that more ethereal with the more physical in a way that not only feels really true and authentic for you, but then also helps to inspire and uplift and empower others as well. And that is very compassionate. So really what I would say is with the 16 energy coming through, there's this call for you to stand within your independence, not lose yourself in relationships or lose yourself in other people, but find a way to bring that strength and that like conviction and that confidence into a space without sort of overpowering another person, if that makes sense, right? Like you can be very confident and independent and strong without needing to have power over another, right? So yeah, so I think that it'll be an interesting month for you all, but I think that there's going to be potentially a lot of clarity coming through, and it's going to be like what you choose to do with that clarity that of course will make the difference, but you just want to make sure that in those decisions, there's also that, of course, that level of like compassion and taking others into consideration and really trying to see the whole picture before making a decision, but also not apologizing for the direction that you choose to move in, right? So very, very powerful month for you all potentially. So I hope it's a great one. Take care, sevens. Life path number 8. So I pulled an animal spirit message for you all for February, and you got duck spirit. And this is so fun and so beautiful and so needed for 8s, I think. So with duck coming through, this is sort of similar to the energy of the sun card in tarot. So it's very much like, finding your bliss and doing what brings you joy and hard work creating major success type thing. And I don't want to say like hard work, but like work in purpose, right? Like bringing success, much needed success, or like reaping those rewards, which I think is really beautiful because again, we're in a 9 universal cycle for February. And so it's very much about like, reaping the harvest and like reaping what you've sown and letting the nutrients and the rewards come to you without a tremendous amount of like effort. Like you've already put forth the effort. So duck coming through for you all is very significant, I think. And so you may see that there are big triumphs this month for you. Again, like as a result of the effort that you've put in. So that's very, very possible. It may look different than what you expect it to look like though, right? Like sometimes we get so caught up in the packaging that we miss the gift. So if it, just be open to how the reward wants to come in for you, because again, it might not look the way that you want it to, and you just need to release some of that expectation and control and just let it come in, and then find a way to rejoice in that and to use it to your benefit, right? Because there is definitely something here about like bliss and your joy and what lights you up and your passion and that sort of thing. So I think you'll see some triumphs come in around that, which is incredibly beautiful. Now for the month of February for you all, you're working with 17-8 energy. So you're working with your own energy. So again, this can be a really big time for finances, career, power, like status, resources. Maybe you're buying or selling a house or moving locations, and that location, you see a spike in clients or in your business or whatever, right? Or you get a promotion or something like that. This is a really big, potentially big month for, again, like assistance from others or getting big opportunities that come in that maybe you don't get started on this month, but that you can start planning for, right? Or you can start to see like how things are going to unfold type thing, which is incredibly beautiful. Or again, this can be a great month for reaping the rewards of the effort that you already put forth. And because it's your own kind of energy, it can be around those themes, which is incredibly beautiful. Now with the 17 energy coming in, there's definitely this call to slow down a little bit this month, I think, for you all, to be a little bit more like reflective, this is a time to check in with yourself, to reevaluate, to maybe be a little bit more analytical. I think the 8s are probably pretty analytical, but to really just kind of like dig a little bit deeper into something, just to kind of get to the truth of it, especially if there's something that's felt kind of like cloudy or that you don't really have a full grasp of, or that you want to learn something more about. This is a great month for like continuing education, taking a class, again, like getting to the truth of a matter or continuing along your path to become the expert at something. This is a great month for that. This is also a great month for diving into the more esoteric things, right? Like divination tools and maybe getting a reading or something like that. Just kind of dabbling in the more spiritual side of things, or the unseen. Very beautiful month for that. But it's very much about like self this month for you all. And so definitely schedule the time, that you need for solitude, for self-reflection. Just kind of don't just spread yourself too thin to where you're like overworking yourself or like, just beating yourself up type thing. This is going to be a month for, again, like just really like finding your joy, finding your bliss, accepting and receiving the rewards that want to come in for you, and taking some time to really like celebrate that. I think that's going to be really important for 8s this month as well. But beautiful energy overall for February for you guys. Definitely Make sure that you are creating space and time, whether you have to schedule it in, for self and for downtime and for self-care. Don't self-sacrifice that because, out of all of the energies, we all need that time, but eights absolutely need to be scheduling that in for themselves. So beautiful month ahead for you all. I think that you could see some great rewards come in for your efforts put forth, which I know is like music to eights' ears. So I hope that comes in for you in a big way. Take care, eights. Bye for now. Life path number 9. So I pulled an animal spirit message for you all, and you got woodpecker energy. And so what's interesting with this is, and this is very much aligned with the energy that you're working with this month, which is 18-9 energy. And the universal energy is 9. So you got a lot of 9 energy that you're working with, which is, of course, your own energy. So you're going to see a lot of those sort of themes come in. I would definitely say have a listen to the intro if you did not listen to it, because I kind of go over a quick recap of the 9 energy when it comes in as a cycle. So just kind of listen to that if you didn't. But for you all with woodpecker, there's definitely this energy of like new perspective or a new perspective needed. Now, what I think about when I think about with woodpecker is, the woodpecker will go to the tree and it will, peck in the tree and get to the nutrients, right? And so once it's taken the nutrients or it's gotten the nutrients from that tree, it'll move to the next tree and continue to look. And so there's sort of the metaphor here is, if you kept going back to the same tree looking for nutrients, at some point you're going to run out. You're going to run out of the nutrients. And so it's kind of like if you keep doing the same thing, it might have worked and it might still kind of work, but eventually it's going to get old and no longer relevant. And so it needs to continue to evolve, right? So that continue to grow and that it's kind of like if you maintain the same idea about something and never deviated from that, it might be tried and true, but you're missing out on a tremendous amount of evolution and growth. So there may be some place within your life where, again, it's like it's become very routine or very mundane and you're missing something bigger. And you're probably gonna feel that wherever that is. So it could be like a dead end job. It could be a dead end relationship. It could be a dead-end belief system or a habit. If there is something where it's like you've put yourself in this self-imposed prison and you're not going to other trees, right? You've depleted the nutrients from this tree. It's time to move on. It's time to step back, look at the situation for what it is, make some decisions around that, and take a leap of faith. Move in a different direction. Move in a direction that feels much more aligned for you. Don't cling to the things that are not healthy or good for you only because they're known, right? Because that's the quickest way to stagnation, right? And your soul absolutely did not come here as a 9 for sure to stagnate. So I would say there's going to be some opportunities this month for you all for some new perspective, right? Whether that's divine intervention or divine invitation, where you just sort of feel called to take a closer look at something that feels like it's no longer working, but you're staying with it because it's tried and true. Or again, it could be like divine intervention where something just comes to completion and you're sort of forced to move on in a different direction. And in that situation, metaphorically speaking, it would be like the tree burning down and now the woodpecker has to go to a different tree type thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like divine intervention. So for the month of February for you all, again, you're working with 18-9 energy. So again, 9 energy, and I would listen to the intro for that. So again, things coming to completion, things coming to you. It's a more receptive energy when it comes in a cycle. So this is not a time to push yourselves, to force things. This is a time for contemplation, for reevaluation, any of those things, right? And again, like coming in, being open to the insights and the downloads that come through for you now, and being open to a new perspective. Now, because it's 18 energy, you've got the energy of the 1, which is sort of that more like, again, like coming back to self, like really looking at what you need to be successful or to thrive or whatever the situation may be. being a 9, you're sort of always going to, at some point, take in others into consideration because you are the humanitarian. But this energy is sort of asking you to look at yourself and see where it is that you're overly self-sacrificing, or where it is that you're missing out on a greater opportunity because you're clinging to something that is known but is not necessarily good for you. It's also the energy of the 8, so you could see some new opportunities come in for career, business relationships, resources, buying or selling a home, moving locations. A status change is very possible under this energy. Inheritance is possible under this energy. Something that something to do with like your finances or career or your purpose or your direction in life, that can very much come in this month for you all as well. So again, it may be that you are in a dead-end job, but you're staying in it because it's known and you maybe have some fear of the unknown. This month, you may be sort of pushed to expand, to grow, to move in a different direction. So just be open to that. Be open to a new perspective this month, especially when it has to do with identity, self, and career, purpose, finances, money, that sort of thing as well. So I hope it's a beautiful month for you all, 9s. Take care. Life Path 11 too. So you all, I pulled an animal spirit message for you all and you got puffin energy. And I love this energy for 11s. This is beautiful. It's very similar to like the Fool energy in tarot. So very much about new starts, big new inspirations and ideas coming through, but you having to take the leap of faith. So there could be some things coming in, not necessarily that you're going to get started on this month, but that you may have to say yes to and commit to this month. And it could be something that kind of scares you a little bit because it's something that's going to force you into the unknown or outside of your comfort zone. And so you are absolutely being asked to explore that and not be too quick to say no to it just because you have irrational fear around it, right? If anything, I would say this is going to be an opportunity for you to kind of like deconstruct that irrational fear and see what you're actually working with when it comes to those fears, and how you can best work with it so that you can alleviate that fear as much as possible so that you can take this leap of faith. It's definitely asking you to trust yourself, the universe, others, in whatever this is. So this is your opportunity for freedom in some way, shape, or form. So it could be about leaving a relationship that's no longer working. It could be about starting a new relationship where you're freer to be yourself. It could be about, same thing with a job, starting a new job, leaving an old job, starting your own business. The options are endless, but it's definitely something about starting something new, but that's something that sort of creates some kind of a fear of the unknown, right? And so it's asking you to take a risk, and you're really asked to sort of look at this with like childlike wonder, like look at all the possibilities, get excited for whatever this brings up in you. Because this is going to be something that ignites your passion, that inspiration within you. It inspires you to take action, right? Even if it scares you. So beautiful, beautiful energies. Now for the month of February, you all are working with 20, so 202 energy. So really your own energy in a sense, right? Because the 2, that is your life path ultimately. So there could be some things here that come in around relationships, like relating to other people, how you relate to other people. This could be a great month for collaborations, for really sort of being objective in the situations where you're working with other people so that you're not getting like emotionally involved necessarily, so that there's not that charge, but you're able to look at it objectively so that you can offer input from a very like objective standpoint that will ultimately help people. With the 20 energy, this is very much, again, like relationships, relating to others, collaboration, but there's like the 0 energy. So it's very much like a clean slate. So very much like the Fool energy. So this is beautiful. There's something here when it comes to relationships, when it comes to collaborations, when it comes to like clients, working with others, yeah, something to do maybe with your belief systems around relationships. There is a opportunity this month for a fresh start, but there's the possibility that that fresh start might scare you a little bit, and again might push you outside of your comfort zone. And you are very much being asked to be decisive and decide what it is that is best for you, and trust yourself when it comes to that. So whatever this is, whatever this big new opportunity is, remember, like, the opportunity coming in is just the starting point. You get the fresh, clean slate to create and, make the experience whatever it is that you want it to be. So the universe is just giving you the opportunity, but you have to build whatever this is. You have to create whatever this is. So this month is a great month for the planning stages of that, but it may require you to also say yes this month. So definitely entertain it, definitely explore, but don't say no just out of fear, right? If there's irrational fears that come up, deconstruct them, see what you're working with, move beyond them, because there's the potential, 11s, that what comes in for you this month could be really big and could be setting you up for the next, for the rest of the year. Which can be incredibly big and beautiful and all of that. And if it comes in for you, it's because you are ready. You are ready. So overcome those fears the best that you can and say yes. I hope it's a great month for you all, 11s. Bye for now. Life Path 22-4. So I pulled an animal spirit message for you all. And it's interesting because it's baby snakes. I don't know if there's actually a word for baby snakes, but anyway, it's not the full grown snake. It's the baby snake, the hatchlings. And so anyway, what kind of came through with this, which actually aligns beautifully with the energy that you all are working with for February, but it's about like fertility, birth, and potentially like health. But really what was coming through is like this birth of something. So this can be an actual, like, very like literal, like birth of a child or something like that, that sort of changes your home dynamic, changes your day-to-day routines, that sort of thing. That's very possible. But really what came through, especially because you all are 22-4s, is very much about like birthing of some kind of like creative project or something you've been building on or working on. You're kind of seeing that come to completion and it being birthed now. Now, again, that will potentially change your circumstances in some way. And so you'll have to figure out how to work with that. It may change the dynamic. It might, again, bring more sort of power, success, whatever, responsibility into your life. And so you're going to have to figure out how to manage that in a way that's healthy for you and your family. And that works for you. So that's very, very possible, but very much this energy of it's time for something to, something very powerful to be birthed, to come into existence at this time. Now, again, it is possible that you could have a focus around your health, your actual physical body. That's very possible as well, because you are working with 31-4 energy this month. So you're basically working with your own sort of energy in a sense with the 4. So it is possible that something could come up around your health. So just be mindful of that. Just kind of anything crops up, just take a close look at it, make sure you get it checked out type thing. But I feel like whatever kind of crops up, you will probably pretty quickly find a solution for that. But definitely focusing on that, like the birth, the creative birth of something. Now, the reason why I'm so drawn to that is because, again, you're working with 31-4 energy. And this is very much about like bringing something into the physical, into life that has the power or the possibility to be very powerful and to have quite an impact on people, including yourself. And so it's very much, a lot of times it's through like communication, through like the written or spoken word. So if you are like an author or something like that, this is a great month for getting your work published, like birthing it, right? Or some kind of creative project. If you're an artist or something like that, this is a great month to be seen, get recognized, be acknowledged for that, and to kind of reap the rewards from your hard work, your hard efforts. Like, again, because we are in like a 9 universal energy, a 9 universal cycle for February. So again, things coming to completion, a gentle shift into the next chapter type thing. But in order to do that, again, we've got to sort of harvest the fruit that we've sort of been sowing. And so there's a very strong possibility that you all will be able to do that this month with whatever it is that you've been sort of working on. So incredibly beautiful there. So definitely take advantage of that. With it being 31-4 energy that you're working with this month, it can be, or it can feel sort of like a very social time, but you're like in the spotlight. You're the one that's like at the sort of helm of the ship, and everybody's looking at you for leadership and for expertise type thing. So it's kind of like this is a month where your work could get published or your work could get recognized. You could get recognized for your skills, your again, like your expertise. This can be a month where you feel like you step into mastery when it comes to some kind of project or something that you've been working on, or you tap into some kind of, or one of your divine gifts, and you feel like it's a remembering and you can really step into it. So beautiful, beautiful energy there. 22s. So definitely a month possible for recognition, for things being birthed, all of those things. And I would just say be open to what it looks like when it's birthed, because it's very possible that it might be different than your expectations. Like sometimes when these things come to fruition, yes, there's like a known degree of like, we have an expectation, or we have like a knowing of like what it's going to look like, but there's also a possibility of like it also looking somewhat different than what we expect it might look like. So just be open to it. Don't get too caught up on the packaging. Just know that what presents itself is exactly what needs to present itself. So now how are you going to work with it? So beautiful energies this month in February for you all 22s. Take advantage of it. All right. Take care. Bye for now. LifePath 33-6. So I pulled an animal spirit message for you all for February. And this is interesting because I feel like you recently got this energy not too long ago. I could be wrong, but it stands out. So you all got dove energy, which is just incredibly beautiful. So perfect for 33s. With dove energy coming through, there's definitely this energy of divine messages coming through. So when I think about the dove, it's like not only like this energy of like unconditional love and all that, but it's a very spiritual energy. So it's very much connected to the spiritual realm. It's almost like the hummingbird where it goes up and it gets the messages from the divine and it brings it down to the earth type thing. And so the dove is very much this energy of like peace and harmony and again, like divinity and divine messages. So again, since we are in a 9 universal cycle this month for February, that veil is very thin between the divine realm, the spiritual realm, and the physical plane. So it is very possible, especially with dove energy coming through for you all 33s, that the messages, the downloads, the dreams, the inspirations, the ideas that come through for you at this time could be very profound. So definitely pay attention to them, write them down, explore them, sit with them, at least write them down, because I do think that they could be very profound. And I think that there could be some messages that come in that bring you clarity and that bring you peace, right? Or the option for peace, where you might have to figure out how to move towards it, but it's like it will sort of resonate for you, like, okay, this is going to bring me the peace that I've been looking for around a situation or something like that. There's also this call with dove energy to find the harmony within a situation. So if there's a relationship or a situation that has been causing you some kind of anxiety or distress or whatever, this is a really good time to find a way to get peace around whatever that is. So whether it's seeing a therapist or having a conversation with the person or whatever works for you. But there's definitely this call to find peace and harmony around a situation where there's been disharmony or conflict. Okay. And it might be that you have to be the person that initiates that. That's very possible. There's also this energy with dove coming through around like mothering. So like it might be that you are being called to nurture or sort of mother someone at this time, to be a shoulder to cry on or to assist them in some way. That's very possible. Or it could be that you need that. And so you just need to reach out to someone for that, right? And this is a great energy this month for that assistance to come through. So again, sometimes we don't have those people, or the people are not capable at this time to show up in that way. But there are professionals who are very capable of being that support for you. So again, this would be a great time to, go to therapy, or, find a healer or a shaman or something like that to work with, who can hold that space for you. Because yes, you're 33-6, and yes, like, you are the presence type thing, but you need that just as much as anybody else, right? Like, you need to fill your own cup too. So this month, don't be afraid to ask for that assistance. Absolutely don't be afraid to ask for that assistance. There's no shame in that, and it's absolutely needed, especially on the journey that you all are on. So, okay. So for the month of February, you all are working with 42-6 energy. So I would say that this is probably going to be a month where you need to really look at the foundation of your relationships. Now, again, this is across the board relating. This isn't just romantic partnerships. This is friendships, acquaintances, colleagues. It can be partners. It can be business partners. Literally anybody that we relate to or relate with, whether we want to or not, type thing. This is going to be a month, I think, where you're all being called to really, again, like, look at the foundation of those relationships. Do they feel good? Do they feel not good? Are they in harmony or disharmony? This can be a month where you are being called to find peace and to create peace and harmony within those relationships. Now, that can mean that some of those relationships might need to fall away, or major changes need to happen within those relationships to bring that peace and harmony. Sometimes we have to go through the pain of releasing to find that peace and the harmony, right? For both parties. And so this can be a month where it can be a little bit emotionally sensitive. But through that process of, again, taking a closer look at those foundations, taking a closer look at those relationships and how they're serving you, is going to be, I think, really important. So definitely take the time to do that. If there's any relationship where you've been avoiding sort of conversations or conflict, these are the ones I'm talking about, right? These are the ones where it's like there's some cracks in the foundation that need to be looked at, that need to be mended, either through divine intervention or divine invitation. And so, and I think that you're probably going to be the one that has to initiate that. So, because that foundation is just going to continue to break until it eventually crumbles. So it's best if you are sort of getting in on it when you notice that there's the issue, then letting it get to the point of where it's like no longer, you can't fix it anymore, right? So I think this month is going to potentially be a big month for that, for you all. So just be aware of that. Now, again, this is how you relate to people and your relationships across the board. So just be open to where it is that something keeps coming in for you that you're like, this needs to be fixed. This is bringing me too much stress, too much anxiety, too much drama, too much, it's too toxic, whatever. Those are the relationships that are probably going to come into the forefront this month to be, to be looked at and to be fixed or released. So I hope it's a beautiful month for you all 33s. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.